Have you ever wondered that how much amount of money you should invest now in order to accumulate a wealth of rupees 10 lakh at the end of 10th year, assuming the discount rate as 10% per annum, or in order to withdraw a amount of rupees 1000 in year 1, 1000 in year 2 and 1000 in year 3. How much amount should I deposit in a bank account as of now? A very good afternoon to one and all. Myself Dr. Rishabh Gupta, and in today's session we will be understanding another prominent component of time value of money, that is discounting techniques. So discounting techniques, which is often considered as a reversal of compounding techniques, helps you to find out the present value of future cash flows. Discounting techniques can be explained with reference to present value of single cash flows and present value of series of cash flows, which again includes equal cash flows and unequal cash flows. So let's first focus our discussion on the present value of single cash flows. So present value of single cash flows means that how much a single cash flow in the future worth today. Let us take a small illustration. If my goal is to accumulate an amount of rupees 10 lakh at the end of 10th year, assuming the discount rate as 8% per annum. Now in this situation, I am interested to know the present value of rupees 10 lakh. So in this illustration, the future value is rupees 10 lakh, time period is 10 years and the interest rate is 8% per annum. The present value of future cash flows is equals to future value divided by 1 plus I raised to power n, or present value is equals to future value multiplied by PVIF IN. Now what is this PVIF? PVIF refers to present value interest factor table. Again, this table is in the form of a matrix wherein the interest rate are shown on the top side and the time period is shown on the left side. If I am saying the interest rate is 8% and the time period is 10 years, then the value comes out to be 0.463. Now what does this 0.463 indicate? It means that rupee 1 received after 10 years at a discount rate of 8% per annum is now worth only rupees 0.463. So in my illustration where the future value is rupees 10 lakh, time period is 10 years and the interest rate is 8%, the present value of future cash flows comes out to be 4,63,000. It means that in order to achieve an accumulation amount of rupees 10 lakh at the end of 10th year, I must invest rupees 4,63,000 rupees as of now. Now by looking at this table, we can observe that at a given interest rate, with increase in the time period, the value declines, which means the value diminishes from 0.926 to 0.857 to 0.794 and so on and so forth. What does this indicate? It means that at a given interest rate, longer the time period, lower will be the present value, because it increases the waiting time to receive the future money. In other words, I can say the more time separates you from your liquidity, the more it will impact the value. In other words, the longer the waiting time, the lesser will be the liquidity and more it will impact the value, which means lesser will be the present value of future cash flows. Again, at a given time period, say 10, I can notice that the value diminishes from 0.905 to 0.744 to 0.614 and finally to 0.463. It means at a given time period, higher the interest rate, lower will be the present value of future cash flows. So with increase in the interest rate, the opportunity cost of not receiving the money today also increases, which in turn increases the risk and thereby reduces or decreases the present value of future cash flows. This graphical representation also explains the same thing, that with increase in the interest rate from 5% to 10% to 15% at a given time period, the value declines, showing the inverse relationship between the interest rate and the present value of future cash flows at a given time period. Similarly, at a given interest rate, say 15%, the downward sloping curve highlights that with increase in the time period, the value declines, showing the inverse relationship between the time period and the present value of future cash flows at a given interest rate, say 15% in this case. Now the next subcomponent of discounting techniques is present value of series of cash flows, which means that how much a series of future cash flows worth today. Again, let us take a small illustration. If I wishes to withdraw rupees 1000 in year 1, 1000 rupees in year 2, and again 1000 rupees in year 3, assuming the discount rate as 8% per annum and the time period as 3 years. Now I am interested that how much amount should I deposit today in my bank account so that I can make these withdrawals. So this is a case of present value of series of cash flows. So if I wishes to withdraw 1000 rupees in year 1, 1000 rupees in year 2 and 1000 rupees in year 3. Now in such scenario, the present value in this case will be annuity amount multiplied by present value interest factor 8% and the time period is 1 year, which comes out to be 926 rupee. In the second, 1000 rupees I wishes to withdraw at the end of second year. So I need to discount this value 8% against 2 year. The value comes out to be 0.857. So 1000 multiplied by 0.857 will give you rupees 857. And at last it will give you 794. So in this case, in order to make these withdrawals possible, I need to invest 926 rupees plus 857 rupee plus 794. So in order to make this withdrawal possible, I must deposit 2577. So in case of unequal cash flows, we will follow the same procedure. However, if the cash flows are in the form of annuity, or in case of equal cash flows, I may follow a different method as well, which is present value is equals to annuity multiplied by PVAFIN, present value annuity factor table. Now let's understand the derivation of this formula. Present value is equals to annuity multiplied by PVAF. Now we have learned that present value is equals to annuity divided by 1 plus I plus annuity divided by 1 plus I raised to power 2 and so forth. This forms a geometric progression wherein the first term is equals to A divided by 1 plus I and the common ratio is equals to 1 divided by 1 plus I. The formula for sum of geometric progression where the common ratio is less than 1 is equals to A multiplied by 1 minus R raised to power n divided by 1 minus R. Here A represents the first term and R represents the common ratio. Now let's put this information in this formula to derive the formula for present value of series of cash flows. Now the sum of geometric progression is equals to A multiplied by 1 minus R raised to power n divided by 1 minus R. Herein A represents the first term, which is equals to annuity divided by 1 plus I, and common ratio is equals to 1 plus I raised to power minus n. Now putting this information in this formula gives you A divided by 1 plus I 1 minus 1 plus I raised to power minus n, again 1 minus 1 divided by 1 plus I. Now after putting this information, we can rewrite this equation as follows. So I have rearranged the denominator, which is I divided by I plus 1. Now again rewriting this equation. A divided by 1 plus I, 1 minus 1 plus I raised to power minus n divided by I and multiplied by 1 plus I. Now here the 1 plus I and 1 plus I gets cancelled, which again gives you A 1 minus 1 plus I raised to power minus n divided by I, or I can also say annuity multiplied by PVAFIN. So in order to avoid the mathematical computation of this part, I have used a table which is present value annuity factor table. Again, the PVAF table is in the form of a matrix wherein the interest rate are shown on the top side and the time period is shown on the left side. The relationship remains the same between the interest rate and present value and between the time period and the present value. This table is applicable only in case of series of equal cash flows. So that's all from my side. We'll meet you in my next session. Have a nice day.